He pointed his finger to warn me. I held our son firmly on my hip. My heart knew what he was going to say, but for the first time, I was going to tell him no. For years, I've learned to let things go and accept my fate, but now, I refused to give him money for the bag of rice he bought yesterday. This was my crime, so I waited for his words. It never came. Instead, I heard a loud crash. My eyes flew open, and there he was, Adam, lying flat on the ground. My greatest problem in life has always been caring too much about what people will say. That one weakness has led me to this very moment. Back in school, I loved mathematics. I truly loved numbers. Solving equations felt like second nature to me. But my parents had other plans. Because I was smart, they pushed me into the sciences, and before I knew it, I was studying medicine, a course I had no passion for. I struggled, I failed, and eventually I had to withdraw. I found my way to economics and finally graduated, but by then the damage had been done. In my parents' eyes, I was the girl who couldn't even survive her first year in medical school. No matter what I achieved after that, it never seemed to count. So I kept trying to please them, trying to make them happy, trying to prove that I was still good enough, trying to earn the approval that always felt out of reach. I wanted them to believe I could still succeed in life. See, don't be like me. Whenever you have a gut feeling about something, no agree. No matter what anyone says, do your investigation. If you are convinced, take a bold step. Okay, I said, let me just drop that update. I married Adam because I knew he was a member of my parents' church, and our particular church movement frowns at getting married outside the fold. So before he came to speak to me, his parents and my parents had already made it a done deal. I was lecturing at a college close to my home, trying to find my foot in life. That Sunday, he came to sit behind me in church. Very confidently, he poked my back. Very unromantic something. I looked back and pretended not to know who he was. Chai, Adam get pride, sha. He now used that his ostrich voice to announce to me, "So you don't know me? I am your husband. When we close from church, wait for me and I'll take you to my house so that you can know where we will live." That was it. No date outings, no lovely text messages or even love letters. It was straight to marriage. Not all what I dreamt of. My parents sold me cheap to this man. I should have listened to my boss and just moved out of my parents' house, but I needed to please my parents. Obedience was like food to them, and I wanted their approval. We got married, but you can tell by now, you can guess that this wasn't even a marriage. It was almost like what our forefathers came to do in the white man's land years ago, because you see, Adam's mother, in fact, their family, plus Adam himself, those people are something else. As soon as we got married, they told me to quickly resign my job. You know me now, as a people pleaser, I quickly told my boss goodbye. Prof. Akindele pleaded with me, but I couldn't stay. I was only thinking of how happy my family would be that I obeyed their wish. I knew it was a wrong move, but I still did it all the same. I could sew, so I started sewing in our bedroom, and Adam would tell me, since I was making money from sewing, I would be the one to feed the house. He was an engineer and we lived in the house he built. He had 3 cars, and even though I couldn't drive any, as he forbade anyone to teach me to drive except him, and I know that if he teaches me, I might end up trekking back home. What was worse was the way my in-laws, especially my mother-in-law, would laugh at my dressing or my food and call me a graduate that is worse than an illiterate. Chai, I will hide to cry, always. If I tried to rebel, my mother would call and warn me not to make my in-laws throw me out, that there are ladies queuing to be in my position. I was this way for 7 years and still no one was pleased. Not my parents, not my in-laws, and certainly not my husband. 2 children down the line, I was still wearing the clothes I had worn as a spinster. No weight gain, no change. What was annoying to me was I wasn't even his type. I saw it on his phone. Their pictures, well-rounded, beautiful ladies. I could never compare. I thought to myself, I see their transfers, the text. He will type, please manage this for your shoe. Or he'll type, please buy that wig today. Or even one particular text I saw. He said, I just sent this text to make you smile. Chai, that day I made up my mind. I cannot continue like this. I cannot continue like this. If I saw a dress for 5,000, if this man should travel and buy a tuber of yam on the way back, he would tell me he has bought foodstuff and I need to pay him for it. I kid you not. One day he bought bush meat on his way from Oshobo. This man collected 8,000 naira from me, telling me that since I am the one in charge of food at home, I owe him for whatever food he buys because I do not help him pay fees, bills, or anything else. He sends my parents monthly upkeep as well. So you see, I was trapped here. I needed an end to this. Do I just run away? Do I leave my children behind? Where do I go? The major reason I couldn't was, what will my parents say? They will be disgraced. Adam just started sponsoring my younger brother Samson in the university. See, everyone was benefiting except me. The concubines were traveling from Dubai and to Seychelles. I spent sleepless nights awake dreaming of escaping too. But when I remember my brother in school, I was always surprised. Why will you marry someone you are not deeply in love with? It was glaring. If not for her children, we shared nothing in common. Adam finally got the contract he had been hoping for. He had told me about it months ago, and even though he wasn't kind to me, I prayed he got it because I knew it would make him happy. Everyone enjoyed that money except me. My in-laws, my rivals, my parents, everyone kept sending thank you messages. Still, this guy will collect money from me from ice cream he bought for his children that I didn't even send him. When we built a bigger house, we moved in with our in-laws. Shebi, I was complaining about work. This time it was double. Adam didn't believe in maize, so I took care of everyone. Soon insults about how my rice was half done or how my vegetable soup had swimming pool inside. May God reward my mother-in-law for everything that she did to me. That is all I can say. Then I fell sick. I couldn't cook, I couldn't sweep. I tried, honestly, but to get up from bed was impossible. And so they sent me home to rest in my parents' house. I think this was the best decision ever because I met with my HOD at my college once again. I narrated all I've been through after he screamed of how haggard I looked. He was the one who ignited the boldness in me. He began to teach me how to stand up for myself subtly. When I was younger, I returned back to my husband's house. They had already hired a nanny. I was surprised and relieved. I began to work again. I moved to my garage. I created a page on social media and began to get more clients. I began to save. I got a contract to sew for 10 bridesmaids, then 20, and even a whole bridal party. I would model them and I will put them on my page. See, there is a kind of confidence that having money saved up gives you. I began to braid my hair, use little makeup. Their behavior towards me didn't bother me any longer. He would insist that I pay for the food he fed his family, and that very day I refused. He collapsed. We rushed him to the hospital and they started a series of tests. See, I was the one who took him to the hospital, but it was my mother-in-law that carried the doctor to another room to discuss. I knew all was not well when they were whispering among themselves. Before I could even catch my breath, they were doing CT scans, CAT scans, MRI. And what happened? I approached my mother-in-law and she told me that we will all have to go for a test. Test again? When we are not sick? Well, I I knew the truth would come out and I decided to calm down. My husband lay calm, sleeping. He looked like a stranger because his face that was always stern, especially to me, was relaxed. The test results came out and so did the truth. My husband's kidney had failed and they needed a donor. Tell me why it was me and my mother-in-law that were the closest match. I didn't even know. Just ask me how I found out. I was at home tending to the kids when my mother-in-law called me from the hospital. She told me Adam's diagnosis and that we were all tested and I was the best match to donate. She told me to prepare myself as I didn't have a choice. I had to save my husband. Honestly, I would have done this in a heartbeat. He was still my husband and the father to my children after all. But after she said goodbye, she forgot to end the call and I heard her tell her daughter, I know the doctor said I'm the best fit, but let his wife do it. I cannot risk my life. I quickly hit the record button on my phone as she kept complaining. All those complications that the doctor explained. I'm not ready for that. After all, her parents don't care about her, so let her do it. And I heard my sister-in-law laugh. I looked at the phone. Was it this bad? What have I done to deserve this? Why would a mother refuse to help her son? What were the complications? No one explained to me. I checked my balance once more. Tonight or never. I carried my 2 children I was blessed with. I called my boss and we were on our way. You guys, I want to turn off my phone. The calls and the texts are just too much. We landed in Abuja and I have applied for a job in the college again, thanks to Prof. It's been so peaceful and business here is better. However, the text messages from my in-laws, from my mom, from the pastor, how I am an ingrate, how I beat the finger that fed me, and how heaven is far from me for abandoning a man who loved me and made me who I am. My parents' voice messages are the most dramatic. My mother is actually telling me that from day one that she had me, she knew I would cause her pain. Okay, but when she went to the UK, they did not feel pain then. See that my little brother telling me that I should have endured till he graduated. I don't even blame him at all. Viewers, please tell me, is it true what they say, that quiet people are the most dangerous? Please tell me from your heart. Should I go back and save somebody's son? Or should I just calm down because everybody go dey alright last? Please subscribe and tell me in the comments what you think about my tale worth telling. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.